Hi guys, we're back with Season 3, Episode 2 of the Cabin Podcast. My name's Dave.
I'm Ori.
And we've got a couple of people here on the podcast this week to talk through some of the... What are we doing this week? We're doing some tattoo stuff and some coffee stuff.
Some coffee stuff as well. Yeah.
All right. So did you guys want to introduce yourself? We'll start with Bree.
I'm Bree.
That's it. This is just Bree. Bree just
Bree's
sits here on the couch. She just chills here.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Bree's the co-owner of the cabin here with me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt. Night tattoo.
Matt's awkward.
Very good.
All right, so Matt started at the cabin not that long ago, but we'll get into that with the questions. So we're breaking it into 3 segments, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 segments.
Yep. So this is the first segment, and what's it called?
Do tattoos hurt? So that's our very first question as well.
Well, they hurt when I do them, but I think everybody's different. Everybody's pain threshold is different, depending on the spot.
I mean, that makes sense. They don't tickle.
Nah, they're not the best feeling in the world. Nah.
All right, so first real question. Favourite part of being a tattoo artist? The things you kind of like and don't like, and
Probably the best part about being able to create stuff, you know.
Yep.
Working with clients, stuff like that.
Yep.
Hardest part sometimes the client as well.
Yeah,
They can be the hardest part, but yeah, generally being able to give something to someone that they really love and they're happy
something
with,
that's going to last forever.
and something meaningful for them.
So I think when we're as far in as, like, you've been in the industry longer than me, but I've been in a long time as well, you really do learn how to read the client.
Definitely.
You know, and it's something I try and teach as well, but you can't really teach. It's on the job.
Definitely. Yeah, everybody's different.
Yeah.
The way you approach everybody may work for one time, but not the next. You know. So
Yeah, that's right. And even down to skin.
down to skin. Yep.
You know,
Everybody's skin behaves differently. And
Yep. And then your one client, the next time, their skin might behave differently as well.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. Could be a bleeder. Could be.
Yeah.
They might not
Sounds
sit
like
well.
a challenge. Sounds like a big challenge. You can never know.
Yeah, it's different every time you tattoo. It's different every time.
So what is your style? How would you describe your style?
Maybe say semi-realism with a lot of line work,
Yep.
sort of thing. I love doing black and grey mostly. Do colour, but yeah, I'd say something with a lot of line work.
Yeah.
You have
a
an
lot of
awesome
people come
range.
to you for lettering and
script
well.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Always been a favourite doing outlining and stuff like that. So
Yep. What would be your favourite piece you've done? It doesn't have to be favourite all time. Just this week, last week. You know, what's something cool you've done, or a favourite of all times?
probably I did a dragon today. I was really happy with.
Yeah.
Big Japanese dragon, like doing Japanese style.
Where was it on the body?
On his arm.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Top
was
of
really
his
cool.
arm. So
Yeah.
dragon with some cherry blossoms and stuff like that. So
Yeah, well, I think, like, watching your Japanese stuff, I really like what you put out Japanese style. I know it's not your preferred thing, but
no, I prefer to do black and grey, but I do really like Japanese as well. I like the boldness and the strength of it.
Yeah.
So it looks,
Yep. So how long you been at the cabin now? You're
85 years.
85 years. Yeah, you're longer than it's been
Feels
open.
like
it,
Yeah.
Um,
Just part of the cabin now.
No, I didn't ask how old Scott, the apprentice, was.
I got that wrong. It was 95 years.
Yeah, so you've been
Was it
maybe
July?
Straight
3
up.
months, 4 months.
Yeah, straight
Far
after the
out,
after the
after
COVID.
COVID.
After
That's
COVID,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's a newbie.
Yeah.
Don't feel like it though. I feel
No,
like
I
feels
feel
like he's
feel like I've been
settled
here
in
forever.
really
So
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your kind of favourite part of the cabin, the crew, like?
It's just an absolute amazing place to work. It's just no stress. The bosses are awesome. The
I
people
haven't met him
He
yet.
don't
has
have
to
to
say
say
that.
that. You don't have to say that.
yeah, it's just first, just no stress. It's just an awesome environment to work in. Everyone's happy, helping everybody. There's no egos. There's
Yep.
just everybody's just happy to do good tattoos, and we've been provided a awesome place to do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so like for people watching, as we said on the last podcast as well, you know, not everything about this podcast is about the cabin, but we we do like to kind of push on what we have going here, so
Yeah, what's
people do
available.
know. And then for people watching that are from other tattoo shops, and you know, it's something we would like to push on for other shops to kind of learn from as well, and keeping the environment really professional but friendly and just stress free. We have 4 counter staff here running all the tattooers, just to keep the stress down on the
Yeah.
tattooers, and that
And it's a
kind of
big
shows.
family.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Family. One of my favorite parts of like in the shop is watching you like mentor Cassia and Scotty as well, and because it's so casual, it's just like a bunch of mates talking to each other. And on that point, like I want to know, what is your advice to newbies in the tattoo industry?
The newbie tattooers.
Yeah, newbie
Yep.
tattooers. Like, what would you say to apprentices or
Um,
people coming in?
work really hard. Know your tattoo history. Make sure you look up everything. Don't get a big head, and just be humble, and just work hard because it is hard.
That's good advice. It's good life advice. Life advice in general. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hard industry, isn't it?
And it's something that gets harder the more you go. Like you think it would get easier, but it
Yeah.
gets harder and
Yeah,
harder
it
every
gets harder
time.
and
Can't
harder.
get complacent.
No,
with it.
definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's right. So obviously this is a coffee shop as well for people listening to the podcast. That's they will start to learn all about this shop. So what coffee do you drink, and do you kind of love coming in and having your coffee pretty ready there?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. You can walk in and it's ready to go. But I definitely I'm a cappuccino man.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Ori makes an amazing cappuccino. But yeah, it's
You're not
definitely
wrong. I'm great.
definitely awesome that you can get consistently great coffee every time. You know, that's the key. Like it's been amazing every time. You know, so
Yep. All right, so we'll finish off with this question, but you know, you're kind of fair way in the industry now. Where do you kind of see yourself going, either style-wise or still learning-wise, or where do you kind of see yourself next in your actual tattooing?
always learning. You never ever stop learning. Always keep trying to get better and better.
That's why I like this question in, because you literally never stop.
Exactly. Yeah. Every day has a challenge. Every tattoo was a challenge. You
Yep,
learn
and then
every day.
New
yeah.
machines
New
come out,
machines,
and
technology wise now is amazing. Like I've just recently got myself an iPad, and I think, why didn't I do it earlier? You know, it's made it so much easier.
yeah. So we run off the iPad Pros, which have a thing called Procreate for people that aren't right in the industry, and just makes our prep so much easier.
So much easier, and with the stencil machines,
Yep.
it's so much easier. It takes the stress out. It's
Yep.
already done for you.
Yeah,
Where you
that's
go.
right. That's right. And you know, there'll be people that'll not like that, and you know, you should still hand stencil like it used to be. But you know, things move on, and we think that's just such a good workflow.
Yeah, definitely. And the old way is good too, but we've got to adapt with the times. You know,
Yeah.
use anything to make our life easier.
Yeah,
in the
that's
tattoo
right.
world, where it comes down to machines,
Yep.
to the iPads, whatever
Yeah.
we can make it easier. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
that's the best thing
Yep.
that's come out of all this sort of
Take out as many variables
variables
you
as
can.
possible.
Yep.
Definitely.
I love that you guys have Procreate too, because I can play with it. It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, that's that segment done. But thanks heaps, Matt, for coming in.
No
on
worries,
that.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get you guys into the next section.
Thanks.
So actually, before we go, where can people check you out? What are your handles on social media?
Social media, Matt D Inc. on Instagram, and Matt Tattoos on Facebook.
Yep.
Yep.
And I also
So-
work at the cabin.
Yeah. So if you struggle finding them, head to the Cabin Collective Tattoos on Facebook, and that will have all the links. So you can check them out there. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Alright guys, welcome to our second segment called Meat and Potatoes. So for today we're going to be talking about coffee and coffee beans and a little bit about the process of them and how we roast them as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off with saying that most of us know coffee beans as being brown and dry, and that's what coffee is made out of. But originally they come from a cherry, or they come from the coffee tree. And the cherry is bright red or a bright pink, and then it goes through many different processes and stages before it becomes a green bean, and then it's roasted, and we'll talk a bit about our roasting process as well. And then
A good fact is it's
Yeah.
not actually a bean, is it?
no, it's a seed.
It's a seed.
Yeah,
Seed from the
So
cherry.
from the
fruit.
from the fruit of the coffee tree.
But it just
Yeah.
didn't sound as
Yeah.
cool. Coffee seeds.
Coffee seed. No.
So we'll get Bree in a
yeah.
bit more on this one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know a lot about coffee. You and Dave started the cabin, the
We
coffee
did.
side,
We
all
did.
on yourselves, all by yourselves, and
We learnt a lot in
Yeah.
our first 3 months, didn't we?
In our first week as well.
Yeah, our first week. So yeah, and we've actually had just over the last few months, we've had kind of like walking tours come through. We're the first stop on the walking tour, so they can see live roasting that we do, and we explain the process of that as well. And a lot of that is what's the word I'm looking for? Like a textural thing, so they can actually see and feel
all
and
of the senses.
yeah, so the green beans are actually, they're really, really hard, like rock hard, like
And
a
Yeah,
little
they are
stone.
like little rocks.
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah.
And they smell very earthy, like a legume or soup
Yeah.
peas, split peas kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not what you would expect
And
a
you
coffee
can't
bean to
crunch
smell
them.
like. No.
I've
No.
tried so many times to crunch those little things between my teeth, and they just don't do
Yeah.
anything.
They're so
Probably not
hard.
great
No.
for your teeth.
No, probably not. But
So we
just
suggest you
want
don't
to
do
do
that
it.
out there.
Yeah. And then the green beans are pretty cool too, because they have a shelf life of like 100 years.
100 years.
So they don't.
I
If
didn't
you
know
have
that.
green beans, yeah, you can, as long as you store them in a cool and
Properly,
dry
yeah.
place. Yeah.
That's
They would-
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the coffee process is pretty cool as well, like in relation to us, because like I said, it is for all of your senses, so it smells amazing, and when we roast here, it always makes me hungry, like every time, because it just makes the whole area smell like roasted coffee. And then you get
does
to
the
hear
whole
it.
of our little town here. We're
Yeah.
in Maitland.
Down our block. Yeah.
Yeah, people always say,
Someone's
I could
cooking.
smell it from down the street. Kind of smells like popcorn and
Mm,
Toast in the
Yeah.
beginning
Yeah.
stages. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and another part is the sound of it as well. So if you're standing out near where it's getting roasted, so over an open fire, you can hear the cracks of the beans, and I think that's pretty good. So our beans go through 2 stages. There's the first crack and the second crack, and that's when they are drying out. And the first crack is usually for a light to medium roast, and the second crack is more for a darker roast, which is what we aim for with most of our beans, and we
yep,
have
which
a
is
wide
officially
range of
called a
beans.
French roast.
A French roast.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
We take ours to what a French roast would be.
Hmm.
So if you're getting coffee from elsewhere, our coffee we don't never really do a medium roast, or there is other names, but we generally take ours to the
Dark.
second crack.
Yeah.
Most coffee, commercial coffee that you consume, Starbucks and McDonald's, whatever, is just after the first.
Yeah, so it's very light.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
push ours to pull as much flavour and
All the
oil out of it.
oils,
Yeah. As we can.
Yeah.
Yep. So we aim for oil to come out the way we roast, whereas commercial roasting aim for no oil.
Yeah.
So
Just
they're
cooked and that's it.
and even well, an even thing, an even roast, but they then let it sit so the oils come
Naturally
out of the bean.
come out over time. Yeah.
So that makes our coffee consumable faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask and like get your experience, your knowledge, like with the coffee roasting process. Like, how did you learn about it? Like, teach us a little bit about how you learnt about this process.
Yeah, so I worked as a survival instructor, so teaching bush survival, that kind of stuff. Used to go out, take video gear like we're using here and film stuff, didn't I?
Yep.
So building shelters, building fires, all these, cleaning water,
Survival skills, bushcraft.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things was I taught myself how to roast coffee when I went out to do these things. So I just learned in a little billy, learned how to do it that way, and I used to do it out there. Then I would carve a stick and grind the coffee with the carved stick that I'd just done, usually in like a bandana, and then that would filter my coffee into the cup.
Commonly
So
known
it's
as cowboy coffee.
Cowboy coffee, it's called, yeah. So when we started this, I hit up a friend of mine that's a coffee roaster and said, look, we want to have your coffee, and there was somewhere just too close that already had this coffee, so he just didn't want to do the wrong thing. I'd already had the idea of doing our own roasting, but
Kind of pushed us to do it. Then,
it pushed
didn't
us to do it. I knew it would be hard for us to do it, so right at the last minute I contacted this guy and was like, can we get your coffee?
Yeah.
And it ended up we couldn't, and I didn't want to. His coffee is very good, and I didn't want to lose any quality from that, so
We had to
decided.
take a leap, didn't we? Back
and
ourselves.
said, all right, well, I've learnt how to do this coffee. Now we need to push it up a scale. And I used to roast every morning before I would,
Yeah.
even when I was tattooing.
There's
used to,
like there's micro roasting, and then there's was our roasting. Like we were
In a big pot, continuously stirring the coffee with
So
a
it was-
stick.
what would it have been
Literally
to
a
start
stick.
with? Probably only 300 grams, maybe at a time.
No, we were 600 grams.
Yeah. And then we upped it to about 800, so we were doing about 800 a batch.
Yep.
In our very primitive style, we had our fire, we had a wooden tripod, and then like a big, almost like a stock pot,
Yeah.
It was a
giant
stock.
stock pot,
Yeah.
and a very weathered stick that we would stir with.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
a nice stick though. It was a good stick. It was really smooth.
It was.
It was a lovely
Do
stick.
we still have that stick?
I
We
hope
do.
so.
I
We
feel
should
like we
frame
should
it.
keep
Put it on the wall. Stick has seen some beans.
Yeah.
It has.
So then now, I ended up producing a little, basically a spit roast, like you would roast a pig or whatever, leg of lamb, and turning that into our roasting. But basically, it's still the same,
Yeah.
Over
same
an
idea.
open
It's
fire
just
with-
instead of you hand
Yeah.
stirring, you got a machine that stirs it.
But it's still super smoky. Like you can taste the smokiness in the beans because of the wood. Like
And
it's
the
not
fire,
a
yeah.
gas fire or anything. It's like proper, like still
Yeah.
over an open fire. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still gets the same
So
results
even-
as well.
Even looking into further back, so the way I learned was just not, I didn't just try and do it in the pot. I researched Guatemalan, the way they did Guatemalan coffee. So that was where I did all my learning, was just researching
And applying.
and applying what they did back in, 200 years ago, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and applying that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, talking a little bit about the beans, we have had so many beans in this shop, and we only keep like a select few that are like the best of the best that we've had in. But some of the beans that we have had are like we have had Guatemalan beans in, I think, and we've had Mexican beans.
Yeah.
Ethiopian beans is one of our staple, and that's a beautiful dark roast, like full flavor. Another one, so El Salvador bourbon, and we have beans that are fruity, chocolatey, hazelnutty. We have like a pretty decent range of beans with different kind of flavor profiles, but it's really good because every, like, from week to week when you come in here, you're always going to get a great coffee, but it's not just the same
Won't be the
flavor
same.
all over again,
Yeah.
but it's just consistently good. Just it is
which
nice for the
which
taste
goes
buds.
back to when
Yeah.
we started. So it got out there pretty quickly that because we're the only place in the country that roasts the way we do, and we're still that.
Exclusively,
Yeah, exclusively just over fire. And
Yeah.
what did I have? 3 roasting companies.
yeah.
So about 3 roasting companies come and just tell me.
Because they didn't believe that we were.
Didn't
Doing
believe
it
that
and
we
it
were
was
doing it
drinkable.
commercially.
Really?
Yeah.
And every one of them said, "You can't do this.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to work." And you know,
Look at us now.
we're nearly 3 years in, and
But I mean, they did it that way for 200 years, so
Yeah.
it must work because till technology was developed for the modern roasting, that was how they did it.
yeah, that's right. But just these guys just couldn't get it because there wasn't a laptop running it, and so going on from you saying it's different every week. This is what they were saying. It can't be different every week. It has to be the same cup of coffee. Otherwise, you won't keep customers.
Yeah.
That's
And-
what
and
customers love. We get so much feedback from customers saying it's not just the same thing all the time. It's always,
Yeah.
maybe people have preferences. Like if you prefer chocolatey over fruity, like that makes sense. But it's always
Yeah.
something yummy. And a lot of
And
them like to
super
guess as
strong
well.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we get a lot of remarks that our coffee is so much stronger.
Yeah. But not aggressive.
And we find it like whenever
No.
we go,
Yeah.
we don't get out of here very often, but when we do, I always try and have someone else's coffee.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
just to keep
Compare.
up, compare, and and just try something different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our coffee's always different. It's good to have
Yeah.
a different one every now and
Also,
then
I'm
as well.
addicted, so wherever I am, I kind of need coffee.
Yeah, that's right. But I can't believe how weak other coffee is compared to ours.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to
so-
ask if there is if they forgot the coffee in my mocha, if it's just a hot chocolate.
Yeah,
Like, are you sure there's coffee in that?
Yeah.
But that's our luxury.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like some pretty good info on like coffee and how we roast our coffee.
Yeah.
Just like on that point and tying it back to the cabin and where we see ourselves, like, do we have, this is like interview time again, but like, do we have plans for the future? Where do we see our coffee and where do we see bringing more coffee diversity in and
Yeah,
stuff? Like, I'm curious.
We think we're gonna branch out and offer it to some other places. The way we roast again, we just can't roast 50, 100 kilos each batch like a lot of places
Yeah.
do. So
It's still a micro roaster.
micro roastery. So we have to be strategic on who we offer it to, and then they will probably have to put it as a premium line or
Exclusive, like,
exclusive
yeah.
line, and
Yeah.
for lack of better words, but it will be because we can't roast that massive amounts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think
Yeah,
it
that's
was
pretty
meant
cool.
to be this year, but COVID has happened. So it's put everything back. But
Yeah.
towards the end of this year, next year, I'd say that's going to be our
Yeah.
our
Put it
plan,
out for
isn't it?
wholesale.
And I'm excited for us to like get new beans in, because sometimes we do get little batches of beans, like new stuff, and we get to
Sample.
taste it and sample, and
Yeah,
that's always awesome. Like,
And then you have some beans that are a summer bean and some beans that are a winter bean. Like,
Yeah. that roast better in each season.
yeah,
as
so
well.
at the moment I think is it the El Salvador?
yeah,
With the change in weather that we've had coming from cooler to warmer, it doesn't react well to the warmer
yeah,
weather and the
Yeah.
higher humidity.
yeah,
even though we have the grinder that regulates all of that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, but just the roasting is affected.
Yeah. And the Colombian is the opposite way around. Like Colombian through the warmer months, I think, wasn't as nice as it is now. Like
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the Colombian is just, it's
Yeah.
at its peak deliciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you'll find if roasters that do it automatically, and these, you know, it will still make a difference, but not as much as what
No.
the way
Ours
we do.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially because ours is subject to the weather. It's
Yeah.
not in a warehouse. It's
And
Yeah,
then
that's
and
right.
then you
Yeah.
have beans like
Yeah.
I remember we ordered a huge batch of beans that had like an amazing rating and had won all these awards, but roasting the way that we do, they were almost undrinkable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just didn't react to the fire
as
at
well,
all. We
yeah.
couldn't get the oils out. There was no crema. It was just
Yeah.
it was a
True.
real battle. So yeah, it's just trial and error
Yeah.
with us.
Which is fun. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's a
right.
fun
That's-
process.
That's what it's all about.
Like the
Here
gravy
And you
for
coffee.
us.
learn.
We had the
gosh,
coffee that
gravy
tasted like
coffee.
gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Needless to say,
Yeah.
that has not been reordered.
No, no. It was a fun little
It was-
experiment.
Yeah,
though.
that was such a weird experience.
All right, so that wraps up, I think, the meat and potatoes,
Meat and potatoes, yeah.
or bean and potatoes.
Yeah. Meat and coffee. Ew.
All right, on to our next segment in a sec. All right, we're into our last segment, which is called "What the f- is that sound?" No, it's not.
Is
What the
this
fuck
sound?
Is this sound?
It's
Yeah.
both. Because
What
I
the
remember
f- is
last
this
time
sentence? I
we
don't know.
introduced it as one, and then on the segment we're like, it's the other one. So
That's
I
right.
don't know.
We prepare really hard for this.
Because I'm still confused.
That's the idea.
Yeah, maybe we should do a what the f- is this segment for Bree.
Yeah, that would just be every day of my life.
Basically, I got a thing that makes a sound, and then you guys will tell me what you think about the sound.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Whether you like it, whether you don't like it.
Oh,
We-
okay.
Yeah,
I don't like it already.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the general reaction to my
Okay.
voice.
All right, so what are we trying out?
I got a guitar. It's just like an affordable little guy with P90s. It's a Jazz Master, so it doesn't actually sound like a Jazz Master at all. It sounds probably closer to, I know, something of a Gibson nature. But I really like it. Older body. It's
For
pretty
those
simple,
for
really.
those at home, this is my life of a night listening
yeah.
to Jackson and Dave geek out about music stuff.
No.
Yeah, and
If you,
camera
didn't,
stuff.
if you didn't know what Jazz Master and Gibson and any of that means, I feel you.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll make the noise.
Make the noise. See
Alright,
what it
this is
sounds like.
The bridge
Okay.
pickup. Oh, I'm going through
So you guys think it sounds like too?
Blues Junior, because we all know what that sounds like. At least I all
It's like
know
a
what
small
that sounds like.
blues.
Yeah.
Baby blues.
Yeah. There you go. Bridge pickup. And those are the only licks I know, so that's all I'll be playing. Let's go A. Really sloppy country with
I've met a girl with one of them.
Wasn't me.
that's. There you go. That's a bit. Then I go like. Yeah. Neck. There you go, pentatonic.
All right, so let's let Bree go first.
All right.
Go on.
So
What
what
do
do
you-
you think, Bree?
What do you think? Do you like the sound? Does it sound modern? Does it sound vintage? Does it sound full? Does it sound
So this
Just
Thin
say yes.
speakers sort of pointed at me.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I just heard sloppy country.
Something
So
yeah.
And Matt was worried about talking about tattooing.
yeah, so,
Like bums. No, everything you.
yeah, sounded good. You're a very good guitarist.
I think I wasn't fishing for that, I swear.
No, I know.
Also, I'm not. I just played pentatonic licks. I'm sorry.
It sounds like you should have long swoopy hair and just like sit in a
I used
in
to
a
have long-
bedroom,
yeah.
just like real sad playing.
I used to do that. I used to be my life. It was
Well, there you
pretty good. Who would have guessed?
Fitting. No, I like it. It's
Oh, see,
dwingy.
like I kind of think backstage at like a jazz club, he's like not been given his set tonight.
Not
so he's-
Backstreet Boys.
No, and he's just like, I'm so
They're not-
sad.
I like guessing of my personality.
Or
based
like
on
in
my
the
guitarist.
New
Oh, no,
York,
just the sound of
fire
the
escape.
guitar sounds
New York who?
swoopy hair.
Like you're sitting in the New York little fire escape.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful imagery.
And that's just like
Yeah.
echoing down the alley.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So I think the older body sounds nice and warm, nice
Yeah.
and full.
That's the whole Fender thing. Even though this is most definitely not a Fender.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the whole
You know, and usually that
thing.
would it have humbuckers?
A Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
Nah.
No,
I think it
single
has
coil.
four.
Sing. Usually, yeah, they look like
On the
P90
top
sort
end.
of, but
Can I
they're
get
not.
my
They're just single
favourite word
coil,
of
but
the
they're big.
Humbuckers.
Yep.
Humbuckers.
So yeah, people
So
think
I think the P90s definitely
I like
give it
P90s a lot.
way more vintage feel, warmer,
Yeah,
warmer vintage.
they've got like I think it's a weird compression, like that little bit of attack on it.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like a
Yeah.
Dynacomp.
She's pretty aggressive there. Pretty sassy.
So what'd you say?
It's sassy.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
say it again.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing. I'm glad I bought it. I was a little unsure. I sort of wanted an SG just because I like them with P90s, but I like this too. Yeah.
Just as an A-side, if I were to incorporate humbucker
Yeah,
into my vocabulary, would it be an insult or a compliment?
depends on who you're talking to.
If I'm talking about someone?
They're a humbucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like they're
If you're
big.
talking to a metal guy, I wouldn't.
No, well, yeah, no. What's a humbucker? It's big, not too sharp. That could be an insult.
Being not too sure. Yeah, I know a few
Yeah.
of those too.
Yeah, I say it's an insult.
Next metal guy you see, just say, "Can you get your humbucker out?"
Don't
Okay.
do that.
I'll ask you later.
Don't do that.
So that was what the f- was that sound?
What the fuck was that segment?
Yeah,
I'm
That's
so
the
lost.
idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
That okay,
You
so
play real-
basically this is Dave and Jackson's little music nerd
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're testing out some gear. So
Yeah.
this gear is all the top floor of the cabin is a recording studio, video studio, and we supply lots and lots of gear. So each week we're just trying out a new little bit
Yep.
And they obviously
and getting
know
a
what they're
very
talking about.
uneducated rendition of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uneducated.
couple of little humbuckers sitting on the lounge. No idea.
It's just a way for us to flex our superiority complexes.
There's
about
some
that's
sloppy
good,
country.
because,
Meaningless
like,
things.
Yeah.
You guys obviously know what you're talking about,
That's
and
good.
you guys are running the studio,
Oh, thank you.
so that's important.
That's right.
Yeah.
A
you got it.
lovely couple.
All right.
of
Well,
humbuckers.
that was season 3, episode 2.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
We'll see you next week again
That's the
for
official review.
episode 3.
Pretty good.
Toodaloo.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
There you go.